Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Zip Strike Army. My name is JaCubAsAlways, and today we're going to be going over our VGC Regulation F WBG Wigglytuff Battle Guild Wi-Fi Season 1 draft team. I've never done a doubles draft league before. I've done plenty of singles over the years since Generation 6, so I've done competitive since 2011. But anyway, if you guys love Pokemon content, we upload daily Pokemon content, so I guarantee that you're going to love this channel. So feel free to subscribe and like the video, and let me know what you think of this doubles draft league team today. This should be going up January 10th because they're going up Wednesdays, and then the draft content will be Wednesdays and Saturdays. The singles will be Saturdays or Sundays, I think. I can't remember what day it is, but either way, it will be this will be going up the 10th, and then the other one should be going up either last Saturday, the 7th / no, it would have been the 6th/7th, I believe. I don't know exactly when everything's going up, but we'll figure it out, and we'll get there when we get there. But let's go over the draft league team and stuff. I had the 5th pick overall, so it's snake draft, so I had the 5th pick in the first round, but then I think it was the 7th pick in the, 8th pick in the second round, and then inversed every round because snake draft. Basically, I know of Draft League, and I know prankster abilities are really good. Any spread moves are really good, like Rock Slide, Earthquake, etc. So we need to prepare our team enough to have outs to potentially everything, I guess. It is open Terra, so anything can Terra. Unlike VGC, we don't have open team sheets aside from just showing what mons are Terra-ing to what type. So our first pick was Roaring Moon, so that can Terra into anything. So if we faced Kurpie, aka Kurt, the Winnipeg Blue Blastoise, Kurt would know our Roaring Moon and all of our other Terra typings for our Pokemon. But yeah, Roaring Moon was a great first pick. We had a point system, so I think we had 115 or 120, maybe 110, I can't remember the total, but we'll have it on screen somewhere, the total picks and how many points I had left. A lot of the Paradox Pokemon, I should say rather, are really good Pokemon. I wanted to try to build my team around Roaring Moon as well as possible. Since it is a quad weak to Fairy Pokemon, and it's weak to Fighting, I wanted a redirection user that resisted Fighting and resisted Fairy. And what better than Amoonguss? Because Amoonguss gets Spore. There's no sleep clause in VGC, so you can put as many Pokemon to sleep as possible. However, Safety Goggles is a thing. Lumberry can be a thing. Terra into a Grass type can be a thing. We'll know that in advance. We won't know their items, but we'll know if they have a Terra Grass on their team right away. So we'll be able to play around that better. It gets Pollen Puff. So obviously that can do damage to your opponent, but it can also heal us. So if we go for, if it's like a, I don't know, if they have Malamar, which I don't think anybody drafted Malamar, maybe they did. If we go for Pollen Puff on there, it can be quad super effective, or we can heal our own Pokemon, so that works out really, really well, and I think that's a great move. It gets plenty of other things to take advantage of. Foul Play is really good in Draft League for VGC. It's not necessarily great in normal VGC, but in Draft League, Foul Play could be a really good move and stuff. Our next pick was Milotic. It was a 14-point Mon. Moongus was 17. Milotic was 14. It has competitive, so that really makes it so deters your opponent from bringing Intimidate against you potentially, or moves that lower your stats, because then we'll go to +2 with competitive, so that's really great. So if somebody has Muddy Water, they have to be very careful of when they want to click Muddy Water on Milotic, because it could get an accuracy drop, and then all of a sudden we're at +2, and that's pretty scary. Then again, our accuracy is lowered, but still. And then Milotic gets moves like Icy Wind, it can run coil setups, it gets a lot of good things that Milotic can really take advantage of, I think. Coils for the accuracy and defense raises, not the attack, because it's obviously a special attacker, if anything. It's got really great special defense as well, and I think it'll help. And I think it's like moves like Helping Hand and stuff too. Pretty much everything gets Helping Hand nowadays. Like back in the day, Helping Hand used to be a lot few and far between for what all Pokemon got it and everything. But nowadays, I'm pretty sure like a lot of Pokemon get Helping Hand, so pretty crazy. Next up, we have Klefki. I wanted to make sure I get a really good prankster user. It is part of the Steel Dragon Fairy Core with Roaring Moon. Obviously, anything can be a part of its Steel Dragon Fairy Core with unlimited Terra. Anything can Terra into anything. So technically, we have any type we want at any even time. But I still wanted to make sure we had a Steel and Fairy type normally, obviously. Not necessarily together, but it just worked out. Prankster user. It gets moves like Sunny Day and stuff, which is really, really incredible because it'll help a Protosynthesis go off with Roaring Moon. So that's great. I really like that. bad idea. Also, Klefki gets Imprison and it gets Trick Room. So if I see something like a Cresselia on the opposing team and they have a Trick Room team or something like that, I can run Imprison Klefki and be like, sorry, you're not getting Trick Room up. So that's really great. And Trick Room's obviously negative priority. Doesn't matter with Prankster, it's still negative priority. However, Imprison will go off first because of Prankster, and that's amazing. As long as it's not like a dark, well, actually no. Imprison targets, right? So technically I wouldn't be able to use Imprison on a dark type if there's a dark type Trick Room user, which there's probably a few of them, but not a whole lot. But yeah, Klefki should be a great Pokemon. It's got so many support moves. Fairy Lock would be interesting as well because it prevents foes from trapping next turn, so it'll help me pivot into certain things coming up, so I really like that. Our fifth pick, Klefki was 15 points. Our fifth pick was Arcanine at 16 points. I really needed a nice Intimidate user, and I thought Arcanine fit the speed tier pretty well at 95 base speed. It gets priority like Extreme Speed, Flare Blitz, gets Snarl, it gets Heat Wave. It gets so many great helpful moves for VGC and doubles, so I'm really happy about that. Should be a very good Pokemon for this team to help us do well, hopefully. I mean, I can't envision Arcanine not coming to a lot of games. Arcanine should be coming to a lot of games, depending on matchup, of course, too, but we'll see that as it happens. Then we have Raichu, normal Raichu specifically, because normal Raichu is better than Alolan Raichu unless you have electric terrain because of Lightning Rod. So it'll really help on my Milotic, because if anything's there, if Thunderbolt's there or Volt Switch happens, it'll just be redirected to Raichu, our special attack goes up, and that'll be great unless somebody has like Mold Breaker on the field or something. Mold Breaker Excadrill could be a thing. I don't know, I can't remember. Somebody had to have drafted Excadrill, it's great. But yeah, it also gets Fake Out, it gets Nuzzle, it gets so many support moves too that you wouldn't expect. Usually, I think it probably gets Knockoff too, because it had gotten Knockoff in the past, but I mean, it's a really good utility Pokemon, I think. It'll be really beneficial for the team. Fake Out is 100% essential on any VGC team, and I think Raichu is going to be really good for this team. That was an 8-point mon. Next up, we have Hisuian Braviary. I picked Hisuian Braviary over normal Braviary because we needed more special attack. We didn't really have a mon that like could really hit hard in special attack unless like Raichu's special attack went up with Lightning Rod. So I really like Hisuian Braviary here. It's another Tailwind user. We have Roaring Moon and Hisuian Braviary for Tailwind. We also have Prankster Thunder Wave on Klefki too if we need to go that route. So Hisuian Braviary should be a nice special attacker. It doesn't hit the hardest. It also has access to Tinted Lens, so it's 112 special attack. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's actually quite potent when you build in Tinted Lens to that. So that's gonna hit anything super hard. Resist don't exist anymore, so that's really good. And I'm really happy to be trying to use Hisuian Braviary. I don't know how many times it's gonna come, but I think the matches it does come, it's going to do really well here. Tailwind's always good. I think there was one other move that I had on it that I don't remember why I drafted it. There had to have been something else. Oh, it gets Vacuum Wave weirdly. For some reason, it gets Vacuum Wave. Feather Dance is always interesting. U-turn for momentum, because there's a lot of switches that happen in VGC, so the more momentum you can have, the better as well. So that was a 9-point mon. Next up, we actually have a second Prankster user, and this is might sound weird, but I drafted Riolu as a Prankster user, and that's awesome because it gets Prankster Sunny Day. Also, it gets Prankster Howl, and that's important because it'll allow something like Roaring Moon to set up. So if I have Boost Energy Roaring Moon to raise his speed, I can use Howl Riolu because Howl raises your attack as Riolu and your partner's Roaring Moon. So we'll be at +1 with Roaring Moon. So that's really integral to do that as well. And then it gets it gets Sunny Day too to help Roaring Moon. It gets Coaching if I want to raise my Roaring Moon's defense, because that is one of its lowest stat besides special attack, which I don't care about special attack because we're a Roaring Moon. And it just gets a lot of good coverage moves, and I'm really actually kind of interested in using this. Most of the time it'll be Focus Sash because it doesn't have the defenses to really take advantage of EVLA. I would have to do a lot of damage calcs and stuff to see if it actually lives any random hits, but it also gets moves like Copycat and random things like that too, so that should be beneficial to the team too. Next up, we have Frostmoth, which is a 5-point mon. I think I said Riolu was 4. Frostmoth's 5. Bug Ice, but with Terra, it's actually pretty good. Quiver Dance with Terra, you gotta watch out. And plus, like, Rage Powder with Amoonguss, that's scary, and then Fake Out support with Raichu. I could potentially get a Quiver Dance off, and then we could be in the ball game because we can Terra into something like Fire, which helps with a lot of weaknesses, or Terra into something like Water as well, because then that helps with our Fire weakness, and then we're not weak to Rock. There's a lot of things we could Terra into. It all depends on the matchup, but yeah, I mean, I think Frostmoth could be really good. Again, Icy Wind. It also gets Ice Scales, so if we want this to be really Assault Vested oriented, like if they have like a Iron Valiant or maybe not Iron Van, like a strong special attacker, right? So say they have a Tornadus or a Raging Bolt. We can tear this into like ground, run Assault Vest, and we're rocking things here. That's actually a really, really good set. How did they really break through that very well? Like Ice Scales is a really good ability, especially with free Terra, so we can Assault Vest that, and we'll figure that out when it happens. But that was a 5-point mon. I really did want Golurk over Polysand, our next pick. However, Golurk got picked, so we went with Polysand because I wanted a Ghost type and a Ground type. It's not necessarily the best Pokemon. I don't think it gets like any of the helpful moves like Helping Hand or anything like that. It gets Bulldoze randomly, but that affects us too, so we have to be weary of that depending on what's all in. But we also might want to proc our weakness policy with a Pokemon, and we can Bulldoze. It all depends what we all want to do. There's a lot of things you can do. We have to figure that out with team building and very good prep. I don't know what I'm all going to do with it, but I think it has some merit. We also have Water Compaction, so if we Defensive Terra this, we're Grass or Water, we take a Water move, and we're in good shape. So there's going to be a lot of mind games with the open Terra and everything, so I'm very excited for that. So that was a 5-point mon for Polysand. And then our last mon, I decided to max out Pokemon with 11. We had to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon, and I wanted 11. And I think our list of Pokemon are all very good. Our last Pokemon was a 3-point mon. We did not have a normal type yet. Obviously, we can tear it into normal if we so chose to do that, but I didn't want to necessarily. But we have Greedent. Greedent is like an anti-Trick Room Pokemon, so it's 20 base speed, so it's very, very slow, but it gets moves like Belly Drum, it can moves like Swords Dance, it can Terra into ground, it can do a lot of different things. Also, it gets Cheek Pouch and stuff. It can kind of be annoying with that, and Gluttony, but Cheek Pouch is better because it'll reuse the berry twice, so that's very useful for us to have. So we can use Citrus Berry twice essentially and get up to full HP after our Belly Drum. And then with Rage Powder and Moongus and stuff, that's gonna kind of deter people from trying to bring Trick Room versus us too. I wanted a very slow Pokemon like this to counteract Trick Room if somebody went full-sended Trick Room team versus us, depending on what we all have and everything. But like I said, we have counterplay to Trick Room, like Imprison Klefki and everything. And then we have fast enough mons like Roaring Moon and everything for Tailwind teams, and we have Thunderwave Klefki to counteract Tailwind, and we have plenty of things to beat those Pokemon. I think the team is really well thought out. I did my best with it. Like I said, I am more of a singles draft league player and a singles competitive player in general. But for me, this is the best I came up with. We'll see how well we do. Like I said, this is gonna get uploaded January 10th, and then the first battle should be next Wednesday, the 17th of January 2024. But like I said, we upload daily Pokemon content. We're on that grind this year. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We're gonna get there by the end of the year, I guarantee it. Hard work and determination will get you as far as you want it. The power of manifestation will get you as far as you want it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of the team in the description below. Let me know how many games you think we're gonna win in 8, and we'll see you next week for week 1. Have a great day, and I love you all. Peace.